session. Savage Sword. I forgot to change this part here. Let's see. YouTube. Let's go live on Instagram. I need to just change the card on YouTube. We're minutes away from putting the next layer on the last two pencils by James Anthony. All right, here we go. All right, here we go. Here we go. Hello, hello. Looking good. So we got the line drawing in. What I always start off with is just doing my brush thing, my brush pen thing, the Fudenosuke, the Shinpetsu. That's pretty much it. I just used these two. Now I'm going to be heading into liquid mask land. So I've done this before and I'll do it again. Basically now the line drawing classically in comic books. Good morning, John, on YouTube. The classic thing with comic books is this black outlining or inker thing. One of the things that I've come to understand is the holding line. So these are lines to trap blocks of color in a web pressing, CMYK printing type of thing. But it has entered the lexicon, if you will, on making a comic book. Now I'm making a comic book that's just black and white. So the thing that I'm going to be doing is adding gray values. Now, in the past, when it came to web pressing and let's say trapping values, you would use screen tones. So zipatones, duotones, and these were things that would easily translate in a web press. Now that we're in digital technology, the sky's the limit. That's the thing. And so I want to give more of a painterly effect to it, playing with the values, everything from what I'm going to be laying down, which is a graphite, water-soluble graphite wash. I get into spray cans, black, white, and gray spray paint, black, white, and gray gouache paint, black, white, and gray color pencils, even pencils, the lead themselves, paint markers. So anything that gives me the effects that I'm looking for, even ink, just regular India ink, I'm happy to use as long as it gives me the right black and white value effect and everything. And as I've said before, one of the things I'm really attracted to in the drawing, obviously then these two beautiful gals, is the rock formation here. And then, of course, the cosmic otherworldly background that will happen in and around here. So enough talk. Let's get down to laying in some. This is a Molotov art masking liquid pump marker. So it's just like a paint marker, and it has this blue tint to it, but it's an erasable. You'll see right now. So the eyes are. I'm gonna. Now, one of the things James said about this drawing is it's nighttime. So I'm going to kind of really look at these figures in somewhat of a silhouette, and they're getting kind of highlights from like a glowing, parts of the moon, as a light source. So I'm gonna kind of play around with just some light aspects here. Nothing too crazy, if you will, because I can bring in I can bring in white again, with anything from spray paint cans to um, gouache. So I'm really not that worried. These are just some of the areas that I would want to protect, having a really stark um, white, or be able to get to the white of the paper, which would be the starkest of the paper. So yeah, I gotta keep shaking these bad boys. Ram, how we doing? Thank you for stopping by on Instagram. So Ram Parsons was the guy who introduced me to this guy, James Anthony, who also goes by, let me grab, this is the original pencils by James Anthony. I reached out to him through Instagram. His Instagram handle is Shelob's Layer of Drawing. Shelob's Layer Drawing of Drawing, and just was completely taken by his pencil work, and asked if I could do an ink variant version. And he sent this amazing drawing my way. So thank you again to not only the artist himself, James Anthony, but Ram Parson, the brutal blade of Ram Parson, who I had the pleasure of doing a Crom update, which I'll be editing soon and getting up for everybody else to hear about what Ram Parsons is working on when it comes to the world of fantasy. Not only Crom the Barbarian, but he has his own thing going on as a writer. So a lot of good, exciting stuff going on out there. So once again, you guys have any questions, comments, shout outs? Just like Ram shed the light on me with James Anthony's work. Anybody else seeing some really good stuff out there, whether it's on Instagram or YouTube? If so, post a link. Post a link to some of the people you've been following and seeing some amazing sword and sorcery fantasy work out there, because I'm always on the lookout. As well as I know so many others are too. So yeah, going back to the whole, black outlining being inking, in comics. One of the things that turns me off the most, has turned me off the most, and will turn me off the most is the secondary use of coloring. So computer coloring obviously is the big culprit, where people kind of spend a lot of time developing their pencils and their inks. And when it comes time to color, they just sort of spot color randomly. And the colors are through Photoshop or some kind of coloring, digital program. And there's just a complete lack of understanding. And so it just destroys anything that's been put together by pencil and inker. And if the pencil and inker are the same person, I just find it to be a big, not only shame, but it's a disgrace, and you see it a lot. You see it a lot. If you're going to take on comics all by yourself, then be warned that you're asking a lot of yourself. You're asking yourself to, you know, be an excellent writer, be an excellent penciler, layout, formulating storyline, then the inking itself, and then the coloring, and then the packaging. And yeah, I understand it's also a very difficult thing to find people to collaborate with. But when you do and can find, let's say the right people to collaborate with, just be conscientious that they're going to be able to pull their weight, and if they're pulling their weight already, then what they're offering is what they're offering right now, and growth is going to be a part of their journey as well as yours. So, all right. Now I've had this big kind of planet sun thing back here, which I'm going to get back in with. Spray can. I'm going to do a mask later, not today, because I have to let this dry out for about a day or two. So let's see. Let's skip. So the next thing I have is my liquid masking, which I use. So in here is just regular old dish soap you would clean your dishes with. I get my brush that's devoted to the liquid mask, just all gooped up, because this helps clean. This will clean it. If you don't use it, it'll immediately start drying as you're working. I'll show you in a second. With this stuff, I use Winsor Newton. This is art masking fluid. And it's just, same stuff I use, but it, as the blue stuff goes, but this is this is stuff you get with, people for watercolors will use this. So all I'm doing is trying to come up with some good highlights, just areas that kind of I'm going to work in a what would you call it, like a cosmic lighting, kind of reflective, since they're in a night setting. I want to be able to give them something that's reflective of that. So I'm kind of randomly picking areas that put a belly like that too. I'm kind of good with all this. It's kind of short and sweet. Ooh, I just saw something else I want to add. So this is a piece of this rock that's moved forward. And I want to just kind of create a highlight of some like an edge light. There it is. So I'm going to give this a couple of minutes to dry, which gives me a couple of minutes to yammer on about stuff. A lot of things going on. Hold on a second. As I walk away. I need my mat. This is just I think this is a cooking mat I got off of Amazon for like $9, but it's a good multimedia mat, especially when you're doing multimedia like paint and stuff. It just absorbs it better than paper or cloth kind of backgrounds and stuff. So when I go for get the other pieces here. All right. So a couple of announcements. Let me see if I can find. Oh, by the way, if anybody wants to know what I look like, it's my new profile picture. I'm going to be at IC3, the Indie Comic Book Creator Con in Connecticut, March 25th, 2025. So I'm really excited. I have to put together a whole profile bio kind of thing that it gets posted on the website, and I wanted to update my profile pic, but everybody gets a nice look at who I am. So, yeah. But yeah, the big news right now is I am right now working on setting up a page on cromthebarbarian.com that is going to have updates to the coming Crom anthology. So the follow-up, long-awaited follow-up to Crom Collected is going to be a 200-page-ish follow-up to Crom Collected. It will have work by me and others. So this is a complete of Kurt Bruegel and Gardner Fox, John Guinta, and some Jack Katz in there from the other stuff. But I'm going to be, putting that next layer on, and the next layer on is the 3 sections I've plotted out and contributing content to it. Youthful Crom, Adventurous Crom, and then of course there we are, Transforming Crom. And so Transforming Crom is the how I feel you can get Crom the silly barbarian boy to dark and brooding god. So this is something on cromthebarbarian.com that you're going to want to make sure you're subscribed to. If you've purchased the Crom Collected, or maybe download something like the PDF that I had up for the previous version, there's a good chance that you're in the system, but at the same time, if you want to double check, you can always just go there, and at the bottom of each page is a subscribe button, so you can put your email in there and get these notifications. So I'm laying out, time frames, content that's going to be included, a little wish list too. So I'm dealing with some people right now, and will be most definitely over the next month or two. In order to do some back matter. So beyond those 3 sections, there would be a back matter, which is not stuff that's Crom the Barbarian centric. It's just stuff that I feel supports the black and white comic magazine feel, the whole identity of getting something and inspiring people. It's really what I'm going for, is getting people to be inspired, to write their stories, illustrate their stories, get comic book pages together, and like I said, number one goal here is to build a community. Whether we're collaborating together one-on-one on a project, or you have a project and you would like to work with other people, then that's what this is all about, is really just getting people together, and dare I say organized, because God knows that can always jump back and bite you in the kind. So I've already interviewed Jamie Barrows, and I'm actually going to be reaching out to him today to get some copies of this to have on the cromthebarbarian.com in order to help promote and get this into other people's hands. So I was really excited. There are other people here I'm going to be interviewing as time goes on. So I'm really looking forward to more and more of these guys doing work. Jim Gullett, we're going to have a little sit down. It's not going to be so much like the Crom update interview, but I'm going to interview him, as you will. get some information and then do a post based on that. But there's talks of him and I working on something, a pinup first, and then a story page. One of the things I really enjoy about Jim's Crumb is he's probably the closest to somebody making a darker version and feel to the character. Like a lot of times, he's not pretty. Jim doesn't make him pretty, which is the thing I love the most about Jim's work. Is it's not pretty work, and he's not trying to make pretty work, but it is amazingly engaging for a person like me. And so to be able to work with him has been a goal of mine for a while. So this is going to be really, really exciting. Just got a copy of this about 2 weeks ago. Read it. It's by Christopher Mills and Rick Bouchet. Man, killing that one there, right? And really, really well done. Really well done. The only criticism I would have is the color. Not that I don't like the color. I just rather see things like Sword and Sorcery in black and white done that way. So, I think there's another story, but, one of the things I'm trying to do is also get people to give me permission to run stories of theirs previously published, a little excerpt. You know what I mean? Like maybe take the first, I don't know, 5 or 6 pages, maybe not even the first, maybe just start here, just to tease maybe 4 or 5 pages, then give them a page to talk about who they are, and then, a snapshot there, and then a QR code. Much like, people say, oh my gosh, 200 pages. Well, I think there's going to be at least 36 pages that are going to be just like this in the back of the book. There'll be the first 3 stages of Crumb's career, if you will, barbaric career. There will be back matter, reprinted material, and then there'll be a section of just amazing artists that have been working on, contributing to not only Crumb, but Sword and Sorcery. So, you yourself might be working on something and in time have it published and available to people. And then I'm going to get you this 2 pages. So you got a QR code. They snap it and then they locate it and they make that purchase, and they find out more and more about what you're doing. Because that's really one of the most difficult things nowadays. Is being an artist, especially in comic books. There's so much noise out there. Noise in a good way, good and bad way. But, when it comes down to comic books, this is a super sub niche. Black and white, Sword and Sorcery, super sub niche. So, not floppy so much because this is a $13 as priced right now based on the cost, for me to get it on print on demand. 140 pages, black and white, goodness, but that's not a $5 floppy. But I repeat, it's not a $5 floppy. So you're getting your money's worth there. All right, so we are ready to get some slop on here. And what I mean by slop is I have this little tray I got for like $1 at Target. This is a piece of coarse sandpaper, cuts, fold and cut to size. And then there's a piece of electrical tape holding it down. This is the Art graphite stick, water soluble, soft. And the story goes, I ordered one of these, having seen it on YouTube, somebody using it on YouTube. Ordered a copy from, I believe, Mr. Art. And not only did they send me one, but they sent me one tray. So I got like 8 or 10 of these. So I'm well stocked. And all I do is rub it in here. And then off camera here, I have a, water. I do 2 dumps of water in there so you can see, I got that going. I start in the back because I'm really sizing the paper too. So in sizing that, the paper dries out with water having to do with it. There'll be some curl to it, but for the most part, I'll be able to work on a flat surface here. So, oops. And here we go. And you can already see how it's kind of, nice texture, especially with rocks and sky and just all that kind of stuff. So it's a good way to even out the black to white ratio on the page. And help me start constructing. And we just flip it over. Because the one thing too I like about the thing I work the most in my my art style is Jake calls it the distressed look. So I do want things to look weathered, like they've been in a magazine for a long time, printed 50 years ago in the pulps. So then when it does get to print, I'm kind of halfway there. When it gets down to, getting that feeling of distressed look. I think I'm gonna, these when I just get a little bit. That's pretty much it. And yeah, pretty much it. Ta-da! And what I do is off to the side, I have that's pretty cool. It's kind of hard for you guys to see this on. I'll try to do this. There we go. Off to the side, I have like I call a drying station. So it's a board, a towel, opened up. I'll lay it in, put this inside, put the towel on it, put another board, big bin of books, and a counterweight on top of it, and then just run it for the night into the morning. Take it out in the morning, let it set dry because I should be back tomorrow afternoon. It's 1:00 now. It was 12 something that I jumped on. Wasn't going to spend too much time, but this is a rubber cement eraser, so I will then take off the areas and then start making some decisions about what's now going to get pushed back to blacks and pulled back from that to whites. So there's going to be a lot of decisions going on there. So, all right. With that being said, I can't thank you guys enough for stopping by and joining me. It was a quick 30 minutes. Nothing wrong with that. And yeah, here, let me see. James Anthony, just in time to say goodbye. I laid in here. You'll be able to actually go back and check out the video. It's only 30 minutes, and you'll be able to see how I've come to this part. But I'm really excited. I also want to thank you again for allowing me to use your pencils and work on them in my crazy variant inking version. So I'm having a great time also learning more about you and your work. So um, yeah, you're very welcome. You're very, no worries at all. No worries at all. Tomorrow around 11:30, 12 o'clock, I'll also send you a better, earlier notification. Yeah, so I got to get going. I thank everybody for being a part of the community and staying with us. And Prom.